You were talking the other night about the characteristics of language, strictly Polynesian. We find any trace of any of that stuff in other native people anywhere in the world? Is there
any traces of languages like Polynesian? Well, according to some linguists, now, you know, they see traces where no one else does sometimes. But according to some linguists, there's a connection with a language group called Malay, which covers the whole Malaysian, Southeast Asian area. Okay? So they see some similarities between Polynesian and Malay. Okay? That has given rise to theories that the original Polynesians came out of Southeast Asia. There are some cultural similarities as well, but there's no telling whether those came from trade or not, because that often happens. Okay? But anyway, some people have found rooted there. One of the problems is you find certain Polynesian words intact in Southeast Asia, and according to some people, even in Sanskrit. But you also find them in South America. And this would indicate to me, like the word for sweet potato in South Pacific, kumara. This would indicate to me, and I have a right to create theories just like anyone else, that the Polynesians went in both directions, carrying the word. But other people don't see it that way. There is a very strong Western bias that everything had to come from Asia. At the same time, there's a very strong Western bias that says everything had to come from Africa. Very curious. Okay? I don't know how they're working that one out. We've got those two anywhere from except where they are. So you can find, interestingly enough, certain word groups all around the world. There was a man who did a study of what he thought was a proto-language group, where certain words, he found those syllables with very similar meanings everywhere in the world. And he was trying to prove that all of this started in Ireland. But curiously enough, when he was in, he did some studies with Polynesia, he said these groups with the meanings are more abundant in Polynesia than anywhere else. I mean, it's one thing to say it was just the word groups, because the sounds, Polynesian is all based on mostly vowels, okay? But meaning, one of the most significant ones was the word ha, which is supposed to be the origin of the word hello as a greeting word. In Hawaiian, it means life, breath, spirit, but it's also part of our greeting that's used, which is aloha, which is essentially love be to you, or love, let there be love. Anyway, it's an interesting study that shows these things, but no clear origin, even though he has an Irish bias.